I tested the three most popular AI coding assistants, Lovable AI, Bolt AI, and Cursor AI. I gave them the same exact prompts, asking them to build just one thing, a WCAG 2.2 AA conformant sign up form with three fields, username, password, and email, and two buttons, submit and clear. Simple, right? But what I found was far from simple. The primary goal of this experiment was to show you why we can't blindly trust AI generated code. Even though tools like Lovable, Bolt, and Cursor speed up the development, the data they are trained on is not always WCAG conformant. They may help you move fast, but not always in the right direction. So, yes, trust them, but always verify, especially when accessibility is on the line. Because for real users, accuracy matters more than speed. Let's test each one, Lovable, Bolt, and Cursor side by side. And you tell me in the comments which one do you think will win this accessibility face-off. And here's how we are judging them. Each tool will be scored across 5 basic accessibility checks from WCAG 2.AA. For every item done correctly, they will earn 1 point, and the maximum score is 5 points. We are testing for page title and language settings, information and relationships, sufficient color contrast, and avoiding color-only text, live region announcements and error messages linked to input fields, keyboard navigation, and focus visible. Let's be very clear. We are not checking who builds more modern looking or appealing UI. It's about who builds usable forms. Comment below which AI do you think will score more than 3. And if you are more interested about accessible AI, go watch my other video testing ChatGPT, Gemini, and DeepSeek for screen reader accessibility. That one is also full of surprises. But before we dive in, let's quickly break down the differences between these three tools. Lovable AI focuses on speed and user experience suggestions, often built into design systems. Bolt AI is like a smart co-pilot, offering auto suggestions as you write. And finally, Cursor AI works inside your IDE, helping you write and refactor real code. But all of them generate code. But how well do they respect accessibility? That's something we're going to find out. Okay, the first thing that we are going to test is lovable.dev. I have already logged in, and that's why you see my name here. And in this text box is where I'm going to put my prompt. And we are asking for a WCAG 2.2 conformant sign up form with 3 fields, username, password, and email, and 2 buttons, submit and clear. I'm going to press enter. Let's give it a minute for it to think through it and build a page for us. And then we will start evaluating it on the 5 criterias. It says it thought for 10 seconds, design inspiration, features for this version, 3 forms with proper validation, which is good. Submit and clear buttons with loading states, that's something that we will check out. Real-time validation with accessible error messages. So I'm hoping that it should announce the error messages as it appears. Keyboard navigation and screen reader support. Focus management and visual indicators. These are the all things that we will be testing when the code is generated. Okay, now it says perfect. I have created a beautiful WCAG 2.AA conformant sign up form with accessible features. Okay, so this is the form that we have received. I'm gonna open preview in a new tab so that we can use the Andy plugin while we are testing it. Now for some reason, it created the form in the dark theme. But that's okay. We are not here to check the aesthetics of the application. We are here to check how inclusive it was able to generate. The first thing that we are going to test for is the page title and language of page. And for that, I'm going to use our best friend Andy. If you have not used it before, I have a full video that you can watch. Link is in the description below. Once you launch Andy, go to structures and then go to more details. Click on page title. The model pop-up says page title is the access wizard sign up form. So to a screen reader user, this is slightly confusing because that gives an indication that still they're on the wizard that creates the sign up. But this is the preview that we are looking at. So title should have been create account preview lovable.web. Provide the unique name of page title followed by your company name. Let's close this and let's see the language of the page. It says the HTML element has a language attribute value of EN. EN is the 2-letter code for English and which they have done accurately well. So let's give them 0.5 because they were not having a unique or intuitive page title. So for page title and language of page, let's give 0.5. Next, let's go ahead and check for the information and relationships. And for that, I'm again going to use the structures. Information and relationship test for two things. You have semantic HTML tags for headings, and you have labels that are linked to your input form fields. And to test that, under structures, you have headings. Once you click on it, it will highlight all the headings on the page. So we have H3 for create account. So it scores a point over there. Next, let's see if these elements like username, enter your username, email, and password text box have these labels linked with them. The quickest way to know is simply clicking on the username. Once you click on username, your focus must move to the linked text box field. So once I did that, it went there. If I click on email, it goes to enter your email address, and same is the case with password. So my focus is moving. The other way to check for the information is look for the for attributes provided on the labels. So simply go to inspect, look for the for attribute. It says for username. Ensure it matches the ID of this text box. So here you have ID username. So this is how you can validate information and relationships. So it scored 1 full point. Next, let's go and test for the sufficient color contrast. Now, even though this is a darker theme that it generated, let's go and make use of another tool, and that's XDevTools. I'm going to say full page scan and see if there are any issues highlighted. Let's go and check for the critical ones. It says element must support ARIA attributes. That's not something that we are currently looking for. Under moderate, it says heading levels should only increase by 1. Document should have 1 landmark. All page content should be contained by landmarks. So I believe because they generated the code on a darker theme, these colors red are passing with the black background. However, if you try these colors with white background, I'm sure they will fail. So for now, we can see yes, this is passing the color contrast. Secondly, it's not only dependent on color only for the error state. Look at this. It says username is required. It is accompanied with an icon. So which gives me an indication that this is not default or the helper text provided on page load, but something that happened because I took some action. So it's passing on that front as well. So let's give another point to it, and our total comes to 2.5. Next, let's go ahead and clear this form. I'm going to close Andy as well. And from the top, I'm going to start tabbing. And this time around, we are checking for the keyboard navigation and the enhanced focus state. Keyboard navigation should be logical. Top to bottom, left to right. Let's see if that's happening or not. So my focus is on username text box. Now it's on email, and then it's on password. Then it goes to the eye icon to show the password or hide the password, create account, and then clear button. So this form is having the right keyboard focus, and there was an enhanced focus state. So it earns 1 full point at that front, bringing our total to 3.5. The last test that we are going to perform is running a screen reader and listening the dynamic error messages displayed on the page, and how well the focus is managed when I press enter on create account button. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to press clear. I'm going to move my focus to the top of the page, and I'm going to turn on my screen reader. I'm using Mac machine, so I'm going to turn on voiceover.
Voiceover on Chrome. Access Wizard Signup Form Google Chrome. Parampret window.
And from this point onwards, I'm going to press tab.
Entering Access Wizard Signup Form web content. Username star enter your username. Required menu pop-up. Edit text with autofill menu.
So it says what is the label linked with this text box, and that's using the for attribute. It announces it's a required field. It announces it's an edit text with autofill menu. I'm gonna press tab now without filling any information and see if the error is getting announced or not.
Username is required.
So it does announce the error message. However, it didn't announce the next input field. Let me try that again with email.
Window. In autofill. List. Heading. Google Password Manager created a strong password for this website. 1 of 4. Use strong password JH3XZ7A6U8BPQ. You are currently on a test.
So it does not announce the email is required error message. To ensure that it was not a miss from our end, let's go ahead and clear the form again and start tabbing from the top and have a listen together.
Show create clear, but add username. This dialog is not currently focused. Now in window.
I'm gonna put focus on username again.
Username star enter your username.
I'm gonna press tab now.
Email star enter your email address. Required menu pop-up. Edit text email with autofill menu.
So our results are not consistent. In our previous run, it announced username is required, but this time around, it's announcing only the email text field. I'm gonna press tab one more time.
Password star enter your password. Required menu pop-up. Secure edit text with autofill menu.
And this time the consistency is there. It's not announcing the error message, which is a violation. Any dynamic changes happening on the page, especially for the form validations, must be announced as soon as it appears on the page. Now, without entering any data, let's go ahead and test for this submit button or the create account button. Does it moves our focus to the first input field or not?
Password is required. Create account button. Group.
I'm gonna press enter now.
Username star. Username is required. Required invalid data menu pop-up. Edit text with autofill.
So yes, our focus is moving to the first input field with the error, and it announces that it is an invalid data. It announces username is required, which is the error message that is displayed under the text box. So overall, I will give it a 0.5, bringing its total to 4. Next up, let's close our voiceover and go and check for bolt.new with the same prompt. Let me close my voiceover.
Voiceover off.
Let's go to bolt. I'm gonna put the same prompt here and press enter and let it do its magic. Awesome. Now we have a preview created by Bolt. I'm gonna do the same exercise of opening it in a separate tab. And from this point onwards, the first thing that we are gonna check is the page title and the language of the page. Do you recall which tool did we use? Yes, it was Andy. So go to Andy, go to your structures, click on more details and select page title. It says the page title is WCAG 2.AA conformant sign up form. Great job. So it was able to identify what is unique about the sign up form and what we asked it to generate. So page title is in line with that. It's okay. We can be more critical saying, hey, it should start with create account. But because we gave the instructions what to generate, that's what the page title is stemming from. The next thing we need to check is the language of the page. So here it says the language attribute value of EN, which is short for English. So it's scored 1 full point on that front. Next, let's go and check the information and relationships. So under structures, under headings, click on view heading list. It created create account as a heading, which is much better than what we had in lovable.web. It created it as an H3. So this is much better shape. So already we are seeing signs that bold is better than lovable for now. Next, we need to check for is the relationship between these labels and the form fields. The easiest way again is to click on this. If I click on it, my focus is moving to the text box. Same is the case with email address, password. All of them are meeting these requirements. And to double check what we have to do, you check for the for attributes using the labels, and it should have the ID of the text box. So it has scored another point. So the total is right now at 2. Next, we are going to check for the sufficient color contrast. And for that, I'm going to close Andy, right click, inspect, and go to XDevTools, do a full page scan. And this is where we have to identify if there are any issues related to the color contrast or not. I don't see any color contrast related issue in these observations. The next thing that we need to check is it's not only dependent on color only. So they are providing these icons to differentiate whether this is the by default helper text or the error message triggered by the user action. So they get another point. Their total brings to 3 points. Next, let's close it out. Let's clear these error messages, and I'm going to use my keyboard only to tab through the form to check for the keyboard order and the focus state. As you can see, my focus is on the username, and there is an enhanced focus border around the username. I'm going to press tab. We have a focus on email address, which is very evident. Password, show hide password button, create account, and then we have a clear button. So we have a good logical flow along with the focus indicator. So it earns another point. So we got 4 points for bolt.new. The next and the last piece is to test with a screen reader on. So I'm going to clear this form. I'm going to turn on my voiceover.
Voiceover username required. Enter your username heading level.
Let me clear it one more time.
Required.
I'm going to press tab.
Email address required. We'll use this to send you important updates. Required menu pop-up. Edit text email with autofill menu.
So same problem. It's not announcing the username is required error message as soon as it appeared. Let's try tabbing for email address and see what happens.
Email is required. You are currently on a text field inside of web content.
For email, it announced, it says email is required. Let's try the same thing with password.
Show password button. You are currently on a button inside of web content.
So we are not getting consistent results, right? To try it out again, I'm going to clear the form.
Username required. At least 3 characters.
I'm going to press tab.
Email address required. We'll use this.
It's not announcing username is required. I'm going to tab again.
Password required. At least 8 characters with uppercase.
So this time around again, it's not consistent. It's not announcing the error messages as soon as it appears. But let's do shift tab to see if the error messages are linked correctly or not. So it should announce email address is required, invalid data. All this information must be announced. So let's have a listen. I'm going to do shift tab.
Email address required. Email is required. Required invalid data menu pop-up. Edit.
So it does. If you look at the text that is getting displayed as part of text to speech, it says email address required, email is required, required invalid data menu pop-up, edit email with autofill menu. So it's able to link those error messages using ARIA described by. However, those were not announced dynamically when they were appearing. So on that front, let's give it a 0.5 and deduct 0.5 for not announcing the error messages as they were appearing. So its total comes to 4.5. Now let's close this voiceover
off.
And the last one is our cursor.ai. And that's the application that get installed on your machine. So I'm going to open up my IDE, and similar to Bolt or Lovable.dev, they have a chat feature, and this is where I'm going to paste our prompts and press enter and let it do its magic. It's going to ask some set of questions for us and it's awaiting approval. Let's go ahead and approve it. Let's do run. It should open up the form for us. Now it has created a detailed form us, which includes what are the password requirements. This is something that we didn't ask for. So this is how each AI tool differentiated. So Lovable generated the dark mode for us. Bolt.new generated with white background, and with cursor.ai, it provided us with password requirements. First thing first, let's go and trigger Andy, search for structures, and then search for the page title. Page title says sign up form -WCAG 2.2 AA compliant. So far, among the three of them, this is the best page title that we have seen so far. Even though it's not matching the page title create account, it matches the requirement that I gave, which is sign up form. Let's go ahead and check for the page language. It says EN, which is again a short for English. So 1 point scored for page title and language of the page. Next, we have to check for the information and relationships under the structures headings. Inspect, you have create account and you have password requirements. So they have coded it as H4. Now most of you might be wondering, but it is skipping the heading levels. Skipping the heading levels is not a WCAG violation. Drop a comment, what are the exact WCAG requirements for headings? I will provide you the full list. Next, let's go ahead and click on username label. Focus moves to the text box, which gives us an indication that it is linked with the text box using the for attribute. Same thing with email, password. And how do you verify? Yes, using the for attribute. Inspect this element, ensure there is a for attribute. Or they are using ARIA labeled by on this text box. Let me know in the comments which practice do you follow and which practice is better. It gains another 1 point, the total is 2. Next, we have to check for the sufficient color contrast. I'm going to tab through. We don't see any error messages. I'm going to click on create account to trigger the error state and then test for the color contrast. I'm going to right click, inspect, go to, let me refresh this to enable the X linter. Oh, it's X DevTool is not enabled, they are disabling that plugin. So what we have to rely on is Andy. Let me trigger the error state one more time. Go to Andy, then go to color contrast. And then at this point, you have to start hovering. The elements that are marked with red dotted lines are the areas that are of concern. So as you scroll over, you will see it is failing. It says fail to meet the minimum 4.5:1. And this is true for your star icon that we are using and the error message. Same is true for the password requirements. The gray color, the gray text color being used is not 4.5:1. So this is how you can use Andy as well to identify what are the color contrast. Let's check for create account. That's also failing. The white with blue is failing. White with the dark gray color is also failing. Let me close this Andy to show you the state, the error state. Error state is dependent on color only. There are no supplemental icons as that of Bolt. So if I go here, you see this icon. In this scenario, they are not dependent on color only. They are supplying an icon. But in this case, they are dependent on it. So it's failing to achieve the color contrast and not dependent on color only. So 0 points for this criteria. Our total is still at 2. Next, let's clear this form and check for the tabbing order. I'm going to start from the top of the page. I'm tabbing. Tab focus goes to the view or hide password. And my focus goes to the create account and then to the clear button. So tabbing is fine. Visual focus indicators were there, which gives a good indication where my focus is. Slight issue with this icon of show and hide password. That's not that intuitive. It should have been much better. So let's deduct 0.5 there. So the total is 2.5 so far. And the last piece is using a screen reader and have a listen what the text boxes are getting announced, whether the error messages are announced or not. So let's go to the top of the page, turn on our voiceover.
Voiceover on Chrome. Signup form.
Let's tab.
Entering signup form. WCAG 2.2 AA compliant web content. Username required. Username must be 350 characters long and contain only letters, numbers, hyphens, and underscores. Required menu pop-up. Edit.
So it announces what the label is, whether it's required text box or not. The helper text that we have provided is also being announced. I'm going to press tab without entering any data.
Email address required. Please enter a valid email address.
So it does the same thing. What is the label, whether it's required or not? What is the helper text? Let's have a listen for this hide or show password button.
Toggle password visibility. Toggle button. You are currently on a toggle button.
So it says, let's go and listen, have a listen again.
Toggle.
It says toggle password visibility toggle button. But whether it's turned on or off, we don't have any clue, right? Let's go ahead and
toggle password.
go to the create button.
Please correct the errors above before submitting button.
There are no errors on this page so far, but it says, please correct the errors above before submitting button, which is incorrect representation of the information of this page. Let me press enter on create account because our messages or the errors were getting triggered only upon submitting the form. So let's do that.
Username required. Username is required. Username must be 350 characters long and contain only letters.
Because they have slightly different implementation for the form validation, there must have been a banner at the top saying there are 3 errors on this page. And then my focus should have gone to the username text box announcing whether it's invalid or not, and then username is required. I believe it didn't announce whether it's invalid or not. Let's verify that by tabbing and listening what email address does.
Email address required. Email address is required. Please enter a valid email address.
And that's true. See, it's missing ARIA invalid attribute. And we can verify that. Let's close our voiceover.
Voiceover off.
Inspect this element. We have ID, we have name, required, ARIA described by, but ARIA invalid equals to true is missing. That's the basic requirement to mark a field which is invalid. Let's go and check for bold. Let me inspect this input field. We have name, we have ARIA described by, ARIA invalid equals to true. This is what it is missing for cursor.io generated create account or sign up page. So overall, I would say I will mark it as 0. I will not give any points to this. So our total comes to only 3 points out of 5. So here's what I need to know. Which AI tool are you using today? And more importantly, is it helping you build an accessible web? If this test has helped you, like this video, share it with your designer, developer, or tester, and comment below which AI tool surprised you the most today. Subscribe for more real-world accessibility tests, and don't forget, watch my video for testing ChatGPT, Gemini, and DeepSeek with screen reader access. Together, let's code a web that works for everyone. This is Param Singh signing off.